5 years back, I think you just celebrated your work anniversary as the chairperson of DCW, and 5 years back you undertook this massive task of heading this organization. Now, as a young leader, uh, in a country where mostly we're looking at leaders who are more experienced in years. As a young leader, was it difficult for you to make people take you seriously, and how did you make your way through this organization, which has always been headed by people who are who have more experience and like more number of years?
I think it was very difficult, not just because of the fact that I was younger than others, it's also about the fact that I'm a woman and I'm heading an organization which is generally taken non-seriously. If you look at all the commissions across the country, even the National Commission for Women, if you even look at their chairpersons, the discussion is generally around that the commission should be given more power, that they're toothless bodies and they can't really do anything. And in fact, when I was being posted here, I was told the same over and over again by everyone around me. That, what is it that you'll be able to achieve? There's nothing, it's just a women commission, these are glamorous roles, and what is it that you'll really able to really do something? You basically, your role is that you go in, speak about issues on media, but what is the change that you can bring about? And I read the law under which all the commissions across the country are created, and all of them are extremely strong. For instance, my law gives me the power to issue arrest warrants against any officer or an individual who refuses to comply with my summons. And like I said, initially it was so difficult because the police didn't take us seriously, because the governments didn't take us seriously. And when we started working and when we started imposing our powers, a lot of things changed. Before me in the commission, for 8 years, one case was handled. And within 3 years of our coming, 55,000 cases were handled by us. Over 2 lakh calls were attended on the 181 helpline, 70,000 ground visits. And we are the only commission in the country which officially functions on Saturdays, and unofficially we are working day, night and everything. But initially when I started out, like you said, everybody pointed out, oh, she's very young. How will she be able to perform? The commission does not have powers, but I really think that every individual is very strong. So even if one individual decides to do something that, yes, I have to achieve it, I think that person can achieve it. And here we are running an organization which has so many women and which has a lot of power. So I think if we start implementing that power properly, a lot of change can be done, and that's exactly what we did.
Congratulations on that, Swati. Do you think it's important for a person to be in a position of power to bring about a change?
I think it's not really important. If you look at my journey, when I finished my engineering, immediately after that, I got a job. And I left my job and I started working on the grassroots. It's been like now years and years of struggle on the grassroots. I was completely volunteering. I was working in slums, living in slums, working on issues like ration, on issues like right to information, women issues, and traveling across the country trying to bring about a change. And then the India Against Corruption movement happened. I was one of the core committee members of that movement, because I was there throughout 24/7, completely devoted to all these issues. And I remember at that time also, yes, it was difficult. I had to, what I can do now in 2 minutes, I used to take probably 3 days and 4 days to get my voice heard on a particular issue, on getting one lady her ration issues resolved, or on getting a particular area's problem resolved. But even then, I was able to do a lot, because I really wanted to do it, and I was actually sacrificing a lot of my life for those causes. So now, obviously, when I am like in a position of power, what I can do in 2 minutes, I think I used to take maybe 20 days to do before the position of power was. But to say that you can't do anything until you are in a position of power, I don't agree with it. And in fact, that journey has brought me here today. If I wouldn't have had that journey of living in the slums, of working in the slums, of really being on the grassroots, I think even if with this position I won't have been able to perform, the fact that I have been able to perform is because I understand the issues that happen on the grassroots, and I
Right.
have the grassroots centric approach. Because till the
Right.
time you don't understand that, and till the time you've not faced all these issues, I don't think you can really bring about a change. I'll give you an example. When I came into the DCW, the first thing, like I said, everybody said कि यार कुछ नहीं कर सकते, ये तो बहुत toothless सी body है. Nobody took us seriously. In fact, I
Hmm.
kept writing letters to the police commissioner that please give me information on the crimes against women, and I was not provided any information for 6 months. I mean, I almost felt that I used to write my letter to him, and he would take my letters and he would just just throw them in the bin, because there was just no response. And then I
Right.
felt that it's not as if that he is demeaning the me, it's also about my institution that I
Right.
represent. And I issued a notice to him, and I said that if you have to give me information, otherwise I would issue arrest warrants against you. And it really irked his male ego, because of which he sent me a 25 page letter. And it was actually written in that letter, quote unquote, that if he gives me information on crimes against women, there will be a law and order problem in the capital. After which I again issued summons to him, and I told him that if you will not present yourself in front of me and explain why are you saying this, plus give me all the information, I will again issue arrest warrants against you. And then
Right.
the entire information came. And I think that set the ball rolling. Because after that, all the institutions, all the police, all the other governments, everyone started taking the commission seriously. And if you keep
Right.
waiting for the power to come, I think power is within us. I was sitting here right in this room, I remember, and I had just come back on a Sunday after working the entire day. And I just entered this room and I switched on the TV, and I saw on the TV that the Unnao rape victim, how
Yeah.
she was, her truck was hit, and how
Yeah.
there was an attempt to murder for her, and her father had already been killed in police
Yeah.
custody. So I don't know what happened to me. I was just sitting here and I felt so angry, and I felt that if I didn't intervene right now, this girl would be killed and nobody would bother about it. And I
Right.
just immediately called a friend of mine, and we traveled all the way to Lucknow, 250 kilometers in the night. The next morning, I was in the hospital there, and I intervened. And 4 days, I parked myself near the girl, and I met her, and I tried to mobilize public opinion in the matter. And on the fourth day, this girl was airlifted back to Delhi, because that was our demand, that you please bring her to Delhi because she will be killed in Lucknow. Now, that case
Right.
did not have my jurisdiction. It is a UP case. I am the
Yeah.
chairperson for Women Commission.
Yeah.
I did not have jurisdiction in the matter. The crime did
Mm.
not happen in Delhi. Delhi had
Mm.
nothing to do in the matter. But I was extremely convinced that if I don't help her, nobody will help her. And actually, while I was there for all those 4 to 5 days, no one
Yeah.
actually came from the government to help that girl. So I think it is about how convinced you are, and about doing the right thing, about feeling powerful yourself. Because I've seen a lot of people who are in extremely powerful positions, but when you
Yeah.
talk to them, they are talking about things like, yeah, हमारे पास तो कोई power ही नहीं. So power is a state of mind, and if you exercise that state of mind, then you are powerful.
That's very interesting, Swati. I want to ask you this question. Did you choose women's rights, women's empowerment? Did you choose to work in this space, or were you, this was a choice which was given to you?
Actually, it was
And
a choice that was given to me. And
okay.
though these issues have always been very close to my heart, before this I was advising the Chief Minister of Delhi on public grievances. And that is also an issue that I feel very closely about, because I've worked on the ground on issues of public grievances. And I was enjoying that role a lot, because I was able to get work done. I remember I used to enter the office at 7 in the morning and come out at 12 in the night. We set up the entire public grievance management system. And then this happened. And I also remember the day I was told that, I'm now being shifted to the Delhi Commission for Women. And even I didn't know what the commission was. And even I felt that, oh my God, I'm being shunted away. Why? What did I do? Why a women's commission? What happens in the women's commission? I've never heard of a women's commission. And it's just probably some place for retired politicians. Those were first thoughts that came to my mind. And then when
Right.
I read law, I was like, oh, this is very powerful. And I had a discussion with the chief minister who actually appointed me, Shri Arvind Kejriwal ji. And he said that this is exactly what we want you to do. We want you to go and revolutionize this, because this is an issue that is very, very close to his heart also. And this is an issue where you need people to be able to move beyond party lines, and you need activists to be posted in this place, because on
Absolutely.
a daily basis, even the capital of the country, Delhi, is facing around 5 or 6 rapes, and
Yeah.
certain issues are there which cannot be politicized and which should not be politicized. And this
Yes.
is one of those issues. When an 8 month
Uh,
old baby gets raped, I think her blood, I think the pain that she goes through, I think it mars the entire society's soul.
yeah.
So that is why I guess I was posted here, and I think that. It's been a very painful journey, actually, when it's not easy to even talk about this 8 month old baby whom we held in our hands. She had
Yeah.
just got raped and there was blood all over, and then she had to be admitted in the ICU. She underwent 3 operations, and somehow we tried to save her life and it got saved. But I think every such interaction has been taking something away from me, and it has been a very, very painful personal journey. Even before this, I was into activism, I was working in the field, I was even living in a slum. But I had this crazy idealism that I will change the world. And this, for 5 years, while I have been able to successfully change a lot of things, but
Hmm.
still, somewhere it has taken a lot of things away from me, because I feel restless, I feel a lot of pain, I feel many times very close to tears, because when you meet these children and when you meet these women who have gone
Yeah.
through so much pain in their life,
Yeah.
and it just takes away something from me. It's very painful.
Swati, how do you keep yourself going? Do you have a ritual? Do you meditate? Because or do you have a very strong team? And you had said this in one of your interviews that when you joined DCW, you had to build your own team. You had to get things. You had to put a system in place. Uh, what are the few things that you follow which give you the strength to sort of keep going and keep doing this amazing work that you're doing?
I have an excellent team, and it's very true that I was able to put together a very, very good team, because when I came to DCW, like I said, 8 years, one case. There was no team, there were no cases, there was no infrastructure, there was no internet, there were no computers. It was like one kitty party that was going on, where some women would just come, and I don't know what was going on in that commission. There was hardly any work that was happening. So I was
Right.
able to successfully put together a team, and I think that has been one very, very important thing that I've been able to do, because if you don't have a good team with all your good intentions, you will not be able to implement what you really want to do. So I think that obviously I become the face of the commission, but there are hundreds of counselors that are working on the ground who are actually risking their lives to rescue girls. There are my members who are working 24/7. There are the staff of the commission, and there are times when they don't get salaries for months together, and yet everybody is working at a very, very intense level, because it's not just that I feel that pain. I've put across a team which actually feels that pain and is dealing with that pain on a daily basis. That said,
Right.
I think, like I said, it takes a personal toll, and it has taken a personal toll. There's no denying that. I try to do the Vipassana meditation. I've done some around 20 courses of the Vipassana meditation. Even before DCW, I've been doing that. I think that has helped me quite a bit. And I also try and take out some time in the morning every day for some physical activity, apart from all the physical activity that we otherwise do during the day. But I think it's important. And yeah, these are certain things that I'm taking out. And I'm also now taking out some time for friends, because I think it is important that you have some kind of a social life, and you have a close group of people whom you can actually trust and who can trust you, because relationships are very, very important in life. And I think that the kind of work that we are doing and the emotional toll it takes, you need
Yes.
people who can whom you can confide in, and who sometimes who can just understand your mood swings. Because when you go to the office and you've just met an 8 month old baby who has been raped, obviously it takes a toll over you. So you want to talk about it, but in a safe space. So I think these are certain things that I'm trying to work on, but mostly I don't get time. But I'm really still trying to be able to somehow manage.
Okay, Swati, yesterday was World Human Trafficking Awareness Day, and with the aviation sector going down and the lockdown, it is somewhat uh, estimated that the uh, domestic trafficking cases are going to rise. And UN came out with some numbers yesterday saying that 71% of the total trafficked people globally are women, unfortunately. Do you have something in mind to does is DCW planning something to curb this, or to ensure that the numbers don't rise? These are scenarios where trafficking becomes very easy for the
Yes, I think it's
predators.
a very important and very difficult issue actually to work upon and curb. And during the course of the last 5 years, I've met like several hundreds and thousands of girls who have been trafficked. And in fact, we have ourselves rescued thousands of girls from the clutches of traffickers. So it's not just about sex trafficking, it is about trafficking that is of girls for various different
Yeah.
kinds of work, and not just girls, young boys and even men are being trafficked. So
Right.
on one end, while the DCW continues to keep a very close watch, one call, one email, even an anonymous call, anonymous email, we are acting upon it and we are rescuing girls. Even 2 days back, we rescued a girl from the Bhavana area of Delhi. So we are constantly having a full network where every other day we are rescuing girls from the clutches of traffickers. That's one aspect. But I also
Hmm.
feel that the governments, all the governments in the country, and especially the government of India, I think we all
Yeah.
need to come together and work on a much larger scale and in a much more
Yeah.
organized fashion. Because I don't think that is right now happening. So one is that
Yeah.
the governments must come together. Second is also about what about these girls when they're rescued? What is the rehabilitation? And that is where I think the Delhi Commission for Women would like to focus its next year. Because yes, we
Right.
are rescuing a lot of girls. Yes, we do provide them compensation as well. But how do you ensure that the girl who has been trafficked and has been sold in an area like the GB Road, how is it that she gets mingled back in the society? She is able to,
Yeah.
sort of live a life which is free from that trauma. So I think a lot of work needs to be done on that extent, and we are in the process of that. At the same time, I totally agree that because of the lockdown, a lot of these cases will be on a rise, and that is why the Delhi Commission for Women is presently in talks with the Delhi Police as well as various other authorities to ensure that if anything happens, and how can we do more work more on prevention. But because Delhi is more of a destination state, I think
Yeah.
we also need to work in tandem with various other governments, especially the governments of Jharkhand, especially the government of Chhattisgarh, Bengal, Odisha, because a lot of girls are being trafficked from this area.
Swati, do you think it's going to make a bigger difference if there are more number of women in the judicial system? There are less than 23% judges who are women, in our system at the moment. And do you think changing that will bring about a bigger change?
I think definitely, whether it is the judiciary, whether it is the police, whether it is the parliament of the country, whether it is the legislatures, I think women must be getting at least 50% of the seats there. Uh, till the time things cannot be till the time I think the society is not ready for that kind of a change, I think some kind of a reservation must also happen in order to ensure that more and more women come forward and are able to join the politics as well as the judiciary as well as all other scheme of affairs. But that said, if that one change will bring about a great change, I don't really think so. I think we need to build in systems. I think whoever it is, whether it is a man or a woman, I think that person needs to be sensitized as well as need to be held accountable for their work. So while it is the right of women, because they are 50% of the population, that they must be represented well in all organizations, all institutions. That's important. But just to be able to do that and then bring about a change, I don't agree. I think that we need to create very, very efficient systems. Presently, our systems are not efficient. If a girl gets raped by some men, then for the next years and years, she gets raped by the system. Now, even if a woman judge is there, she also ends up becoming a part of that entire systemic rape because those systems are not correct. So we need to ensure proper systems which ensure swiftness and certainty of punishments, which ensure proper and speedy disposal of cases. So that's very important. At the same time, yes, of course, a woman, the way she's able to observe a particular case, the way she's able to empathize with another woman, I think it is not, sometimes it is not possible for a man to be able to feel like that. So yes, there needs to be many more women in the system, but that needs to be as a matter of right. And what changes will come about will be only through the kind of systems we create. Because if it is a man, even then he should be able to handle that case in a very sensitive manner as well as in a very accountable manner, and those can be done, that can be brought about through proper systems.
Quickly, on an ending note, I want you to give a little piece of advice for girls who want to do something and create an impact in the society, but a lot of women back out thinking that, there's dirty politics, I don't know whether I'll be able to, if I'm strong enough to be able to make a difference, if I'm there are not many women in this field. It would be really encouraging for our viewers and our audience if you could give out some pieces of advice from your experience.
I think there are certain people who are born with that calling. There are people who are born because when they see injustice anywhere, they are not able to keep quiet. They have to intervene, they have to help. And I think there are hundreds and thousands of such people in our country. And I would really, really encourage such people to be able to come together and to be able to really raise their voice, because until we do that, we are a part of the problem and we are not a part of the solution. I think it is important that we all become a part of the solution. So we should be able to raise our voices. We should be able to fight for our rights, and not just our own rights, but the rights of everyone around us. Because मुझे लगता है कि सेवा ही जिंदगी है. अगर आप किसी की सेवा नहीं कर सकते, तो आप एक अच्छी जिंदगी, एक मीनिंगफुल जिंदगी नहीं जी सकते. You might have the best of clothes, you might have the best of cars, you might have the best of homes, but you will not have peace inside. So so the people who are looking for peace, for happiness, for a deeper meaning in this life, I think I would really encourage all of you, please come out, please start working on small issues, on big issues. When I started working in this field, I am an engineer. Nobody in my house has ever done activism. No one ever even had heard about something called activism. But I left everything. I started working on the grassroots. I started living in a slum because I really felt that that was my calling. And I was totally convinced. And even, I still remember when I used to come back home and, my mother used to be like completely, everybody in my family used to be like, what the hell is this girl doing? They couldn't understand for so many years. And my friends couldn't understand, my family couldn't understand, but I was very convinced, because even after 4 days, if I was able to get one work done of one person who was needy, I used to feel very happy. So like I said, there are certain people for whom this is the calling. And if that is your calling, I think it's important that you don't, you just leave everything and start giving back to the society, start working on the grassroots, start experiencing what exactly is the country all about, and start participating in the democratic process. So I think that's one. There are certain other people for whom the calling is various other things, but at the same time they are into social work, they would like to help. Such people can also take out some time, 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, and even, we have 365 days in a year. If every day we are able to do one good thing for someone else, I think that adds a lot of value to our lives. And so it's really a life worth living. It's really a life that makes makes your life much more meaningful. And I can tell you, I may not have achieved much. I may not have got anything back. I may not have, I don't really frankly calculate life like that, that, okay, I got this, I have to go there now. I don't do that. I try to live every moment, and that makes me happy. But I can tell you for sure that I have, in all these 35 years of my life, since the time I've been doing activism, which is like since I was 21, I started doing activism. Ever since then, I have met hundreds and hundreds of extremely good people. And in a normal course of life, when you are not into activism, I think the number of good people, people who are selfless, people who inspire you, are not so many. But if you lead a life like this, you meet such inspiring people, and you meet you add a lot of value to your life. So I would encourage everyone, and if anybody wants to start activism, and if wants any help from the Delhi Commission for Women, my email ID is livingpositive@gmail.com. Please join us. Please write to us, and we will try and help you. And if you're a child, don't tell your mother that I told you that you should join activism. Otherwise, I may start getting hate mails, because my mother would have definitely killed the person whom she would have thought that got me into activism. So I think parents find it a little difficult to understand, and of course they have their own reasons. But calling is your own calling, and you have to follow it.